Awez, and today we're reacting to when YouTubers destroy false accusations by Pax 2. Now, when you get to a certain level of wealth and status, it really does happen quite, I won't say quite often, but it does really happen where people will accuse you of basically whatever. Now, the thing is, sometimes that accusations could be correct, but if it's incorrect, man, hey. So without further ado, comment, like, subscribe, let's start.
From fighting Yahtzee accusations.
They literally says that the fact that I use Adolf Hitler and the fact that I use Nazi imagery, that's bad enough.
To being called a grapist.
This makes me sound like a monster, and if it did happen, I would be a monster. But this isn't how it happened. What did happen was...
Here are 8 YouTubers who had to fight off false accusations. Starting with YouTube street interviewer Jimmy Zhang, who in July 2024 would be accused by cosplayer Laurel of filming her and her girlfriend Anne without their consent. Despite Jimmy's reputation as one of the nicest and most respectful content creators on the platform, Laurel would accuse him of making inappropriate comments about her girlfriend's body.
A tall shorty with a fat O.
And then filming the couple despite both Laurel and Anne saying no multiple times, which he allegedly edited out. Many immediately condemned Jimmy. It's predatory, disrespectful, and downright disgusting. But on July 16th, 2024, the YouTuber would pull out the receipts.
That's not even my type.
Tall woman with big ass. JJK.
That's his type. And plus it was a JJK quote. If anything, you could really say I was just paraphrasing a fictional quote.
But the most serious part was when Jimmy played the unedited footage for all to see.
So as long as it's nothing sexual or weird, absolutely ask away. Yeah. What's up, guys?
Where did they say no multiple times? And just how f***ed up it is to falsely accuse someone of doing such things that they didn't do.
Following this cold hard evidence, the public's perception...
Which is stupid that they will do that though. It's like, ma'am, you do know that he's the one who was filming, right? He has the original tape, right? You do know that, right? So of course he's gonna come up with receipts. You think he's just gonna delete it? He probably has a lot of space. Unlike me, I delete my shit. Hey bro, the first, give me 2 days after grazing a video, I delete. Because, I don't have space on this shit. But this guy has probably a big ass, he probably has money for even a server. That's how much money this man has. So, not smart on your part, ladies. If you're gonna accuse somebody, accuse them properly. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna frame them properly. Come on. Up your game. Up your game.
Immediately shifted. It takes one person lying to mess up an entire career, making Laura delete her original post and turn off comments on all socials in a desperate attempt to mitigate backlash. But while Jimmy luckily had video proof of his innocence, the accusations are only going to get worse. Like with PewDiePie, who got accused of being a Yahtzee sympathizer on February 14th, 2017. These accusations came after the king of YouTube jokingly paid 2 Indian guys to record a video with an anti-Semitic sign.
Subscribe to Keemstar.
I don't feel good. I don't feel too proud of this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not anti-Semitic or whatever it's called. Okay, so don't get...
And what's worse, he's from Switzerland. No, not Switzerland. Yeah, he's from Switzerland, but what's worse, is he from Switzerland? No. I don't know where he's from. But what's worse, bro, this man is the Aryan race, Aryan ideology thing, bro. Blue eyes and blonde hair. So when this thing happens, bro, everybody's gonna jump to that thing immediately. Immediately they're gonna jump to that thing.
Wrong idea.
But while his audience believed he meant no harm, the Wall Street Journal didn't see things that way. And just 2 days later, PewDiePie would upload his first video addressing the allegations.
So, Wall Street Journal, a well-known, respected news outlet, posted that I, during the past 6 months, have made 9 videos that have anti-Semitic messaging in it. They used even me pointing my arm like this. Technically, they can use this as evidence as well. because that's what they did. I'm not joking. The Wall Street Journal did this. It's the most absurd thing I have ever heard.
Despite PewDiePie pointing out how baseless the accusations were, the media would double down on their position, prompting a second grim video from the YouTuber a week later.
May I just say that if you're gonna call someone a hero to the Nazis, you may want to double check if that's true or not. Because afterwards, you can't go, lol, just kidding. But the way the Wall Street Journal defended this was that neo-Nazi websites were supporting me, calling me the #1 PewDiePie fan site, which I obviously had no idea about. I don't, believe it or not, I don't go to neo-Nazi websites.
But upon visiting the website in question, PewDiePie would discover something that would finally make the media back down for good.
It turns out the neo-Nazi websites have changed their mind. Right now, they are the #1 Wall Street Journal fan site. Interesting. I don't believe Wall Street Journal has made a statement condemning these websites. So they must be a Nazi-supporting website now.
His point proven, PewDiePie would return to his normal content creation schedule, although the experience did leave its mark on the creator, permanently affecting his relationship with Disney and YouTube. However, as bad as PewDiePie's false accusations were, they don't compare to the gaming YouTuber, SVB, who on August 11th, 2022, would get accused by Twitter user Nia of being a and child predator. This came as a massive shock to Overwatch's community, as the player was known to be quite vocal about women's mistreatment.
Female gamers are consistently the target of a specific set of attacks and comments, and each of them are their own form of malicious. I want to just start by spelling out what these are and why they're so alarming.
But in complete contrast to his behavior in front of his audience, Nia's post would tell a disturbing story of SVB, singling the 16-year-old out in a team coaching session, complimenting her, and then asking for a topless photo. Shortly after Nia's post, SVB would be made aware of the accusations against him on stream.
This is crazy, guys. This is actually crazy. It's crazy. People are faking screenshots about me. What did I ever do to anyone of this kind that they would... What? There's just no way.
However, despite the YouTuber denying the allegations, people would still be convinced of his guilt.
I'm watching person after person call me disgusting, a vile animal, a pig, someone that should be extricated from the Overwatch community, a vile aggressor. I watch my reputation be dragged through the mud, I think, would be an understatement.
The internet was about to burn SVB at the stake, but just 2 hours later, GG's everyone, this was all a fake and I am Nia. Just wanted to prove how easy it is to cancel someone and how cringe this community is. Nia would turn out to be a 14-year-old boy whose entire story was nothing but an elaborate lie, quickly changing public sentiment toward SVB. Despite his name being ultimately cleared, the incident took a toll on SVB and he would take a month-long break from his channel. However, while SVB's accuser confessed to...
No, I don't. Congrats to that kid. Congrats to that kid. But at the same time, though, come on, Lighty. Come on, Lighty. Come on. This is not the type of accusations that you just give to somebody, bro. Especially if somebody, they don't do these type of things, bro. It's not that type of... Bruh, I know I would weep, dog. I would turn off the camera, and after maybe a week, I would weep that people actually believe that about me. I would weep, dog. I wouldn't weep on camera, of course, but I would weep, dog. Not even cry, weep.
Lying quite would not get that luxury. On February 22nd, 2023, a trans man going by the name of Orion would accuse faceless YouTuber Quite of transphobia, gaslighting, and grape. These accusations shook the internet, sharply conflicting with Quite's reputation as an entertaining and authentic commentator.
I asked you guys what the lower half of my body should look like. I actually decided to just make it another hoodie for some of that good old symmetry.
In his post, Orion would explain that he and Quite had an extremely toxic friendship and on and off relationship since 2017, with Quite regularly gaslighting him and ultimately graping him in the backseat of his own car. This enraged a lot of people, prompting hashtag Quite as a grapist with tweets like, "Isn't it ironic how the gay furry comes out as a grapist? Quite, enjoy your last few hours on this platform before you delete everything and run away from everything." However, just half a month later, Quite would address the accusations in a 90-minute video where he was forced to reveal his face against his wishes.
This is my response to several allegations made against me, the most serious of which being that I actually assaulted a former friend and ex-partner of mine named Orion in Orlando, Florida on February 18, 2018. This clip is of Orion describing the same day the assault allegedly took place in a video 4.5 years ago, where he has a very different account of how he felt about that day.
It was fun, and I distinctly remember him getting out of my car, but stopping midway and saying, "Just remember, I really care about you," and then closing the door, which made me feel really good.
Throughout the entire video, that clip is taken from a testimony given much closer to when the assault allegedly took place. The topic of sexual or romantic activity between me and Orion is not mentioned a single time.
Quite would then go on to describe what actually happened between the two, and shockingly, the abuse may have occurred the other way around. Quite and Orion were in a shopping center when Quite saw a plushie he wanted to buy for himself.
In response, Orion said something to the effect of, "Okay, I'll let you buy it if you give me a kiss later." This was a weirdly identical mirror to a similar situation that happened over text the day before. Later that day, though, Orion and I are in the driver's seat and passenger seat of his car, respectively, when the topic of the kiss comes up again. Despite my hesitance, I did kiss Orion once. That's it. That's all we ever did. Immediately after, I was feeling weird about it. I wasn't exactly enthusiastic about the event in the first place, and I didn't want to go any further with it, so we didn't. Not only did I never have sex with him, I have never had sex with anyone. Even as of recording this video, I am still a virgin.
After that massive revelation, Quite would finally address Orion's claims of
That's because a weirdo then, isn't he? That's because a weirdo. Like, and then you're gonna accuse the man of doing that to you, bruh. And you were the one who. Carry on watching the video. Let me stop pausing.
intentional dead naming.
But in every message I've sent to Orion on Discord, Skype, through text or Twitter that I can still get my hands on, all of which you can look through yourself, you will not find a single instance of me A, ever misgendering Orion at any point, or B, referring to him by a name other than Orion.
But even after clearing his name beyond a shadow of a doubt, the situation would still be really hard on Quite.
My abuser has managed to make a permanent mark on me in a way he's only gotten to do in private before, but now gets to share with the public.
In the end, Orion would only be on the receiving end of public hate for a week before deleting his account. Quite himself would take a 5-month break from his channel, but fortunately returned, unlike Slazo, who was forced to abandon his channel entirely. On June 10th, 2019, the commentary YouTuber's ex-girlfriend, Shy, would accuse him of being controlling and verbally and sexually abusive, shocking fans of the YouTuber's awkward but humorous on-screen persona. Shy's post would paint Slazo as an sexually demanding boyfriend who would become aggressive anytime she tried to refuse him and treat her as nothing more than an S object. With this, the Slazo hate began to pour in. Slazo is a piece of ish. Slazo is a big old grapist who has nothing to say for himself. There would be no response from Slazo except claiming that there was a lot more to this situation and that some of Shy's statements were straight up false. This prompted Shy to double down, posting another twit longer just 2 days later where she would point out that Slazo did not deny his actions or the claims. 18 days after the accusations first came out, Slazo revealed his side of the story.
Trey says that I got touchy-feely in a park and I was making unwanted advances while she was crying and asking me to stop. This makes me sound like a monster, and if it did happen, I would be a monster. But this isn't how it happened. What did happen was this was a very awkward but mutual situation, where she describes I moved her hands to touch me. She did that of her own volition, and she even mentions this in Discord messages from after we met up in person.
Addressing Shy's claim that he touched her on her first date despite her discomfort, Slazo said,
"We went into the..."
Okay, so if there's a bit of a weirdness that just happened now, I basically had to pause my recording, pause everything because Bob the chicken started making noise. So I needed to wait like I think maybe like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And yeah, that's basically what just happened just now. So if there was anything that happened that was wrong, anything that was weird, I apologize. I'm gonna go back so we can have a good synergy.
Was making unwanted advances while she was crying and asking me to stop. This makes me sound like a monster, and if it did happen, I would be a monster. Yeah. But this isn't how it happened. What did happen was this was a very awkward but mutual situation, where she describes I moved her hands to touch me. She did that of her own volition, and she even mentions this in Discord messages from after we met up in person.
Addressing Shai's claim that he touched her on her first date despite her discomfort, Slazo said,
"We went into the cinema, we had our first kiss, our teeth hit each other's, neither of us knew what we were doing, and I was willing to call it quits there when she pulls my hand down and says to touch her, which is a pretty long way from how she portrays it in her version of the story. In fact, she was actually the one who brought up the entire idea of doing anything in the cinema. She also mentions later in the post that she's never been in a relationship before. This isn't the impression that I was under. I was under the impression, from these screenshots here, that she's had at least 2 boyfriends and 1 girlfriend before we ever met. So I'm not sure why she would say this.
Yeah, dating weirdos, and I think that's what it is. I think that's the main problem here. From what I'm watching, from the relationship part of the accusations, right? It's just people dating weirdos. It's like, bruh, who does that to another person, bruh? Weird's weird. Weird, bruh.
Shortly after, Shai would be revealed
Weird,
to
my
be part of
sister.
a conspiracy to remove Slazo from the commentary community, a mission she unfortunately ultimately succeeded in when the YouTuber abandoned his channel on December 17th, 2020. However, as tragic as Slazo's situation is, it's not the worst out of all people on this list. On December 1st, 2020, YouTube commentator Turkey Tom would post a video accusing fellow commentator Pyrocynical of knowingly a 15-year-old. These accusations came a month after Twitter user Ivory Rasmus alleged that 19-year-old Pyrocynical used to exchange NSFW messages with him back when he was 15. But with Pyrocynical's popularity and down-to-earth nature, many of his fans immediately assumed these allegations to be false. It wouldn't be until Turkey Tom's video that public opinion towards Pyrocynical would begin to rapidly decline. Man, Pyrocynical almost certainly being a at this point is so effing disappointing, forcing him to address the situation on camera 18 days later.
Let me be very clear. I had absolutely no idea that he was 15. Ivory himself did not disclose to me directly that he was 15. And the evidence itself supports this too. He didn't include his age in his bio until he was 16, but I was not on Twitter between the 28th of December 2016 until the 29th of June 2017, as I was suspended. That I'm some kind of predator and was aware of his age all along. This is categorically untrue and a complete lie.
Pyro would then strengthen his case by explaining the true nature of his relationship with Ivory Rasmus.
We had some weird fantasy roleplay, but there was no sexual interest. There were no nudes exchanged. His name, his appearance, it wasn't important to me. I didn't even know what he looked like at this point. Ivory himself even struggles to explain how what I did was grooming.
How were you?
I don't know. I was in a call with my friend when I typed it out, and I remember I typed that and asked is that okay?
Despite Pyro's entire video being the literal definition of "I've won, but at what cost," the YouTuber moved on from the incident fairly quickly, unlike George Not Found, who never really recovered from his horrific accusations. On March 9th, 2024, Twitch streamer Katie Bugs would accuse an unnamed big content creator of sexually assaulting her.
Last year, at the beginning of summer, I was assaulted by a significantly older and popular content creator. I was freshly 18 and had just graduated high school. We were at a house party when we decided to leave. It was me, my best friend, and
Okay, freshly 18. Come on, guys. What? Who says these words, bro? Who says this? Freshly 18. Like it's a porno, dog. I don't know if I can say this. Like it's a porno, dog. Like it's a corno. Like, who says these? Who?
her other friend. This other friend was romantically talking to a really big creator at the time. He was also the best friend of my soon-to-be assaulter, and we were encouraged to drink some more as they offered the bottles to us. They said they would join us in drinking and insisted on drinking games, and, already drunk, I obviously complied. Out of nowhere, I felt him slip his hand under my clothes, sitting next to me on the couch in front of everyone. He disguised it with a simple, "Are you ticklish?" I coughed out a no. I stayed there for a while, hoping my stillness could make me disappear. I eventually had to stand up after many minutes for it to stop.
This content creator would turn out to be George Not Found, who would post a tweet acknowledging these allegations the same day, prompting many heated hate comments. George Not Found is a dirty effing creep. I wish I could take these things into my own hands. But just 2 days later, George Not Found would upload a video explaining how things really went down.
The first night that I actually met Katie, I was with Dream in his hotel room, and Dream was in a group chat with 5 other people. These 5 people included Katie Bugs, her best friend, and 3 other of her friends. They had already been drinking at this party before they arrived to the hotel room, and they had also been the ones that were asking to play the drinking games. We had previously been cuddling on this couch for around an hour, but I did place my hand on her waist under her shirt. Anytime that I did this, it was met with her either smiling, laughing, play fighting with me, and there was no reason for me to believe that she was uncomfortable with it.
In response, Katie would share a message allegedly sent by one of George's friends who was uncomfortable with the situation. Faced with this new information, George would make another video addressing the situation a few days later.
There is a text that is claimed to be from you.
Yeah, I didn't send that text.
By now, Katie's story was already losing credibility, and her next response would cement that.
He stuck his hand up my shirt, under my bra, and felt up, fondled, whatever you want to say. He felt up my tits.
It wouldn't make sense to leave out such a crucial detail in her initial accusation, and the internet did not miss that. Seeing that her cancellation of George Not Found was not working, Katie would delete all her accusations and vanish from the internet.
What?
But George's career still suffered, losing subscribers and even a Mr. Beast collaboration, much like M2K, who would forever be haunted by the aftermath of his awful accusations. In July 2020, Super Smash Bros. Player Next Ready would accuse fellow player and YouTuber M2K of sexually assaulting another player in her sleep. This would be a massive surprise, as M2K is well respected in the Super Smash Bros. Community for his straightforward and honest nature.
I basically go through life like this, just doing what I need to, trying to be morally good.
But Next Ready's tweet would accuse him of pleasuring himself and finishing on a sleeping female gamer named Rena-chan. Accused of such a vile act, it wouldn't take long for the M2K hate wave to take shape. M2K legit got away with so much heinous-ish in the community because people loved how quirky and neurodivergent every single one of his actions was.
Yo, that's weird. Okay, who does that? Why would you do that? There's something called Cornhub. I don't see the point in doing that. I don't see the point in doing that. But yeah, okay. That's if it was true.
However, on July 4th, 2020, the YouTuber would address the allegations.
There's a screenshot on Twitter that's a story that never happened regarding me orgasming on Rena-chan, and that is a complete lie. Not only did that not happen, I can't even make that happen. Or the amount of difficulty it takes is so much more than you could imagine. Pretty much like my biggest secret that I just don't like revealing, but I feel like I just have to get out of the way. I was circumcised very, very badly as an infant, to the point that it's pretty much pretty much impossible, or extremely, and I mean extremely, difficult to feel pleasure, orgasm, or any of that stuff. And that relates...
No, Jason, take your time. It's okay. Take your time. It's fine.
Now facing a ton of backlash for his actions, Next Ready would apologize for not verifying the accusations before going public with them and delete his original tweet. With that, M2K's innocence would be proven beyond doubt, but it was still a bittersweet victory as the player was forced to reveal an embarrassing secret.
What cost, bruh? What cost? Damn. Good video. Oh, but when I'm watching all these things, bro, it makes me want to have receipts on everything, on everywhere I want, wherever I go. But at the same time, it's just the people, bro. It's just the people. But I should have receipts because I think a lot of people have had that. And eventually down the line of this YouTube thing, no matter how much I try, no matter what I do, I'm going to need to have receipts. I don't like going out with people I don't know, dog. Like, I can meet you as a, excuse me. I have like two distinctive, from what I've seen, I have two distinctive personality traits where I can either be very introverted or I can be very extroverted. And sometimes I just don't want to meet people. I just want to stay in my circle, in my little bubble, even when I'm outside. So, yeah, man, I don't think I'd meet a lot of people, but who knows? So I probably need receipts. I don't want to be always researching, like, yo, what if this person does this? What if this person does this? And it's like, it's weird, bro. It's not cool, bro. But damn, you need to be safe out there, guys. You need to be safe. I don't know. Damn it. Either way, thank you for watching the rest of the video. Thank you for chilling with your own. Comment, like, subscribe. And until next time, I've been the last one. I'll keep on messing this